Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Meeting House of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent dignity and worth of every person, and where we encourage each other in our spiritual search for truth and meaning. If you would turn off any of your devices that make noises, that would help us stay gathered. My name is Ellen Anthony. I'm a member of the Worship Committee, and I'm so glad you've joined us this morning. Reverend Kate is away this Sunday. First, some announcements. Members can pick up a pledge sheet on the table in the foyer if you haven't already made your pledge for 2022. Walking Club resumes on November 2nd, Tuesday at 10, and you'll receive an email through the folk list from Marty. All are welcome to join Reverend Kate and Lisa at Mata Field on Friday for the town's Trunk or Treat event. Bonus points will be given to those who arrive in costume. As a farmer, that's the theme, farm. Pirates was last year, farm this year. We continue to be very grateful for any donation you can make to our little free food pantry. And finally, coffee hour is on Tuesday at 5 via Zoom. Now, please repeat after me our covenant. I will say the first line, and then each line you can say the same back to me. Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
This is our great covenant.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek the truth in love.
To seek the truth in love.
And to help one another.
And to help one another.
And for our chalice lighting, Shar will light our chalice here in the meeting house as you light a candle wherever you are at home to our live streamers. In this way, we can be together even when we are apart.
Good morning. These are the words of Rachel Naomi Remen. We are all here to grow in wisdom and learn how to love better. As we each do this in our own ways, we slowly become a blessing to those around us and a light to the world.
Shar. As Rev Kate has said, it's a challenge to not sing Spirit of Life. So as Brenda plays, please listen to this beautiful anthem by Carolyn McDade, followed by our meditation. this morning is by Frederick Gillis. Spirit of community in which we share and find strength and common purpose, we turn our minds and hearts toward one another, seeking to bring into our circle of concern all who need our love and support. Those who are ill, those who are in pain, either in body or in spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. We are part of a web of life that makes us one with all humanity, one with all the universe. We are grateful for the miracle of consciousness that we share, the consciousness that gives us the power to remember, to love, to care. And now we will gladly receive your offering.
Thank you, Celestial Choir. The reading today are words by Jack Reimer. Now is the time for turning. The leaves are beginning to turn from green to red and orange. The birds are beginning to turn and are heading once more to the south. The animals are beginning to turn to storing their food for the winter. For leaves, birds, and animals, turning comes instinctively. But for us, turning does not come so easily. It takes an act of will for us to make a turn. It means breaking with old habits. It means admitting that we've been wrong, and this is never easy. It means losing face. It means starting all over again. And this is always painful. It means saying, I'm sorry. It means recognizing that we have the ability to change. These things are hard to do. But unless we turn, we will be trapped forever in yesterday's ways. God, help us to turn from callousness to sensitivity, from hostility to love, from pettiness to purpose, from envy to contentment, from carelessness to discipline, from fear to faith. Revive our lives as at the beginning. Turn us around, O God, and bring us back toward you. And turn us toward each other, for in isolation, there is no life.
Now is the time for turning. Autumn. The trees all around us are turning their autumnal colors. As I turned into the North Truro branch of Siemens Bank, in front of the drive-in window is this young maple, turning from green to orange to gold. It shocked me out of my busyness and impatience into seeing its glory. And then when I turned off the radio, I could hear the leaves dropping and scattering onto the pavement. Whoosh, these dazzling colors skittering along, teaching me, let go, let go, let go. Dear ones, we are in a great turning together. You broke out of your isolation this morning to come into this opportunity to be together, here in the sanctuary and tuning in from at home. So many turnings we have been through lately, together and apart. So many turnings in towards ourselves, in isolation, facing things. So many turnings away from old habits. Let go, let go. So much turning toward each other, asking for help, offering service. We are in a great ongoing turning together. 37 years ago, when I was 37, I had a great turning. I was burnt out from my job as public affairs director at a TV station, cranking out 52 shows a year. On October 20th, 1984, I had a dream that I was in the middle of my life. And did I want the second half to be like the first half? I woke up and said no. And 2 months later, I moved from Minnesota to Cape Cod, to the privilege of safety net with my parents who had retired here. This turning had all the elements of the poem that Shar just read. It's really hard to break old habits. I came to do some reconciling with my parents, making changes, not knowing how, being totally lost to myself. I knew I didn't want the second half of my life to be like the first, but what exactly don't I want? And what exactly do I want? I stumbled around, making the same kinds of messes I'd made in the first half, until I figured each mess out one by one: relationships, work habits. It's been a long turning for me these 37 years, a long seeking, turning in. For me, that's the easier one, searching into different religious traditions, going to a Quaker retreat, working at an Indian ashram, trying to find divinity. My own divinity? Finding divinity in myself. The harder search for me is turning out toward community. Who to trust, how to connect in a safe way, how to give and take, how to take risks, be in relationship, be in community, find divinity in others. This is the place that is especially teaching me about turning toward community. And oh, haven't we all been learning a lot of lessons in turning? There's an old Shaker hymn that has some turning in it. You probably know it, Simple Gifts. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where you ought to be. It's a dance, actually. The last part goes, when true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, I will not be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning, we come round right. This morning you turned up here, turned up the walkway off of Commercial Street. It took an act of will to walk up those 2 flights of steps into your seat or tune in from at home. Will you turn one more time with me? If you are able, please stand up where you are. Here or at home, keeping your eyes open, slowly, safely, turn in place. One full revolution, come round where you want to be. I am impressed. You may be seated. No, we don't know, any of us, what it takes for each of us to do that. It's not that easy to get up out of where you are and turn, to budge out of inertia, to take in the full 360 degrees all around you, to see where you are, how you fit in to your surroundings, to see who else is here. Admit it, there are other people. One tiny revelation, one tiny revolution at a time. In this congregation, we have had so many turnings, together and apart. Losses, pains, stresses, joys, layoffs, and overworking. So many beautiful responses to this challenging time. All the recordings, all the ministers' minutes, staying connected during this isolation. For me, one of the profound turnings in our congregation has been the phenomenon called Zoom Coffee Hour. I love Zoom Coffee Hour. I know some of you have been there, and some have not. Some of you may not have a computer, may not enjoy reflecting. Some of you are on the computer all day and are zoomed out. But I want to celebrate this morning the way Zoom Coffee Hour has deepened our sense of community. First, some background in Reverend Kate's own words. We knew a large group of people talking over each other on Zoom would be a disaster. So we came up with a format that would allow for smaller connection groups using the randomized breakout room function of Zoom. So that it wasn't awkward, I posed a discussion question that first week to get the conversation started. Amazingly, it worked. We'd struck gold. In order to deliver this gold, someone had to learn the technology. Will stepped up, and so did Brian. And here are Will's own words. I was very nervous about the first few, but I was oddly comforted by watching a streaming Zoom live concert performance to celebrate Stephen Sondheim's birthday go off the rails. I thought if Broadway and Hollywood have these challenges, it's okay if we struggle too. Reverend Kate says, over the course of the pandemic, Zoom Coffee Hour became a spiritual practice that we deepened into as a congregation. We learned how to really listen to one another. Extroverts learned to share the air. Introverts learned to take up space. Everyone felt heard and seen. Raise your hands if you've ever felt not heard, not seen. So here's what some folks say about Zoom Coffee Hour. We get these deep questions, and we roll our eyes at first, and then we really get to know each other and ourselves better. One of the new people said, when I found this congregation of black sheep, I found my home. Everyone in the Zoom discussion has been forthcoming, vulnerable, supportive. Another person said, Zoom Coffee Hour is one of the positive effects of the pandemic. In our in-person coffee hour, the way it used to be, we tended to go to who we know. Now I'm meeting so many other people. I feel I can say hi to them on the street. And finally, during this isolating time, it's been a lifeline. I've known people in this town for 30 years, but people have opened up in these profound discussions. It's my multivitamin. Last week, in the breakout room that I was in, our question was, well, we all had the same question, but in my breakout room, we answered the question, how do we offer grace to ourselves? Here's what my group of 6 came up with. What is grace, anyway? I need to go easier on myself, quit being perfect. There are days when I have no energy. I just have to lie down. I still have unpacked boxes since I moved, and that's okay. I need to cut myself some slack. I do that for others. Why not me? We listened to each other and felt not so alone. We heard what someone else is carrying and softened. We gave each other permission to just be, to come round right where we ought to be, right where we are, as is. We are in a great turning, dear friends, toward each other and toward ourselves. Zoom Coffee Hour is the great equalizer. We all have stuff. We all are on this journey, this search for truth and meaning. Kate says Zoom Coffee Hour has the ability to keep us connected to our snowbirds and stay-at-homes. It continues to offer us a container for building community. There are no in-crowds or exclusive friend groups. You don't have to be brave and walk up to someone. They're assigned to you. I wholeheartedly invite you to try Zoom Coffee Hour if you haven't. And if you want help trying it, please see me after the service. We all receive an email from Will that gives the link to Zoom. And then on Tuesday at 5, tap on the link, and voila, you're in our second sanctuary. This week's question, for those who want a head start: what does turning mean for you these days? What does turning mean for you these days? In closing, just for fun, I want to teach you how we say goodbye on Zoom Coffee Hour. So imagine you're in a box. And put your hands to the edges of your little box. In this way, we can be together even when we're apart. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.